Welcome to Lancashire Business Stories, the podcast that does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm your host, Paul Lim, and every week we're joined by local business owners to talk about their journey into business and how they've grown and scaled their own organisations. We'll talk about some of the challenges they've faced along the way and the successes that they've had in growing their businesses, so you, our listeners and viewers, can learn and apply those same principles into your own business, so you can grow and succeed. If this is the first time that you've watched or listened to the podcast, please hit the subscribe or follow button. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let's get to it. Callum and Toby, welcome to Lancashire Business Stories.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm really excited to talk to you today because meeting most of the people that we interview on here have been going for years and years. They've gone into business. They've been in business for a few years. You guys are still in your 20s. So I'm really excited to learn about what motivated you to start your own business and what your hopes are for the future. Let's start a little bit about some background, as we normally do, and tell us how you met and where the business idea came from and how you got started.
So we met at Salford Uni years ago. I can't even think what year. I don't know when it was.
It's not that long ago because you're not that old.
Yeah, well, yeah. Years and years ago probably means something. Yeah. No, we met back in COVID era, back at Salford Uni, which is where we went. I did TV and radio production there.
Okay.
Because I grew up, ever since I was tiny, I wanted to work in TV. I loved the idea of being part of Blue Peter and things like that. So that's what drew me to Salford and Manchester. Moved up here, never left. I started working in TV straight out of uni, or rather while I was still at uni. But
yeah.
Uni maybe don't know much about that.
It's all right, we won't tell them. They won't. So was that a freelancey kind of role, or were you employed by...
Yeah, no, I was freelance. So I started as a runner and then worked up my way up. I was a researcher for a bit. I did things in production management as well. Yeah. I met mainly in entertainment, a lot of reality, bits of factual as well, and live events. So yeah, lots of
drop
things.
some names.
Drop some names.
So what? Some of the shows you've worked on, some of the people you've met.
Things like Eurovision, Comic Relief, Children in Need. What else? The Traitors, The Circle. I can't think now. Think back in my
Our bathroom downstairs in our house does actually have, obviously the worst place to put it as well, but it has a big sort of collection of all of the things.
An homage to your former career. Yeah. Some people would die for stuff like that. That's sellable, that stuff.
It probably is. I think it's nice because being freelance, you're thrown into something and then it ends and you're onto something else. So it's really nice to be able to remember it all. Yeah. But my life was on the road. Like I was, premiering hopping almost every day of the week, and I wasn't at home much. And your experience in kind of full-time work like that's a bit different to me.
I think I had a less clear start to figuring out what I wanted to do. I unlike Toby, who was very clear on I want to be in TV. I just love anything that is to do with the media. And I think that was one thing that probably held me back at the beginning, is that a lot of my peers who I went to uni with, they were all very specific in terms of I want to work in sound, or I want to work in radio, work in TV. And I just was like, but I don't know. I like it all. Can I not try a bit of everything? Yeah. And I ended up falling into doing a bit more with radio. And like Toby, I was also working at BBC whilst I was in uni, just like shadowing, doing like production assistant stuff with the radio. But then we were both in uni and we were like, we need to find somewhere to live together. I had just finished uni. Toby was in his final year and we signed for a flat in Manchester, and I didn't actually have a job.
Right.
So we were panicking as to, how are we going to be able to afford this? And that was like probably the first kind of life crisis that we had. No idea that we were ever going to go into business together. But that was the point at which I was like, okay, I actually need to go and push myself and get something.
Yeah.
And just things fell into place. The universe just happened to line things up at the right time. And through a friend of a friend who worked at a startup in Liverpool, I managed to carve a role for myself, which was around pretty much everything that I wanted to do, like a video production, photo, that creative role with a startup that is essential to a startup to be able to be like the creative side of a business.
Yeah.
That's the role that I had. and that's what got me into the industry.
Yeah. I think it's funny because I was the same as you, I think. When I left school, I had absolutely no idea, in fact, even less idea than you had about what I wanted to do. It was, I'm going back a few years now, this was 1980 when I left school, 1982 when I left college. I was asked what I wanted to do at college, and I went, dunno. I was pretty intelligent. I got 8 O-levels as they were at the time. And then I went to college and did this TC diploma in technology, which was boys subjects sort of thing, like sort of engineering and sciences kind of subjects. And I got 2 or 3 A-level equivalents. Almost went to uni and then backed out at the last minute and got, I'm a bit fed up with studying now. I think I'll go and get a job, which is how I ended up working on a construction site for a while. But I had no idea, and I went through life's not stumbling, but growing from one thing to the next until eventually I discovered things that I enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
And I think there's absolutely I think you're very lucky if if you're really focused from an early age because you know exactly what you want to do. And that can have its pitfalls as well, because if for whatever reason those doors don't open, then sometimes it can have an adverse effect on you. But I think when you've got that focus and determination, then you're lucky in that respect. For most people, though, I think they're like you and I, Callum, probably don't know exactly what we want to do. And I'd encourage all young people now to just go out and try different things.
Yeah.
Go out and do your best. Apply yourself as much as you can to whatever you do, but try lots of different things until you find something that you love, that you're good at, that you can make money from and that help other people.
I think the biggest thing is perspective, I think.
Yeah.
I think not going to college and not going to uni, if I hadn't have done any of those things, I don't think I would have been able to broaden that perspective and find people who have different opinions. I think that's one of the biggest things I would say of the benefits that I had when I was at uni. Even just working together, like my family had no one's even been to college really. Like I've got different siblings and a big extended family. No one had ever been to university. So the idea of me going was like just crazy.
And I agree with you. If you get the opportunity to go to uni, then absolutely take it, because it's not just about whatever course you do. It's about learning about life, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Because it was quite similar for me that I grew up in a village, like, where I had to walk miles to school, and it was a tiny little like village community. If you've ever seen This Country on the BBC, that's where I'm from. Right. So it's very disconnected from the world.
Yeah.
But so when I came to uni and I came to Salford and I came to Manchester and I'd never lived in a city before, I was like, this is amazing. And it's by doing that, you can be inspired by so much, and you can take it in. You can take in the local culture, the work. Even if you get a part-time job somewhere and you meet different people from different walks of lives, you're taking on all of this inspiration, and that shapes who you are to go on to build what you do with your future. And I'm the same. I would not be sat in this room right now if I hadn't have made the choices that I have done to get here, even if some of them haven't always been the right choices.
For me, all the best business owners make decisions quickly and then get on with it. And if it's wrong, you can change it. The worst thing you can do is procrastinate and not make a decision at all. I'd rather see people make decisions, get on with it, and then change it if it needs changing.
I think all of that happens from our experience at the very beginning. And I think it's that little voice inside your head which tells you not to do something. Or maybe it doesn't specifically say not to do it. It's more of like an instinctive fear of like the unknown, of like you like swimming with no support, or you're like walking on a tightrope without a harness. Like there's something inside you that says this isn't quite the right thing to do, so don't do it. But I think as soon as we've overcome that hump of the first year, there's no going back now.
No.
So we don't have a choice.
Same sort of feeling I had the first time I jumped out of an airplane. It's just like...
You didn't.
No, I was... It's another story. We'll talk about that another time. So you're working in freelance on various shows and productions, working for your... Was it a startup?
Yeah.
So where did this idea for Studio Black come from then?
So a couple of years went by, we were still freelancing, and it was 2023. I was working on quite a difficult job at the time, which was quite high pressured. It was taking me all over the country, and it was just very intense. But I guess you could probably say that about any TV job. Most of the things on my CV are like that. And we started to, and you were in a similar position. You were working from home, doing freelance work at this point, and we were both desperately looking for a way that we could spend more time at home together and flex our creative muscles more, I think.
Yeah.
And we wanted to grow our love for coffee. So by working in the creative sector, I think you naturally become attuned to the love for coffee because it powers you through, but also everyone's drinking it. I don't know, I just think it's everywhere.
At that point, did you already have an interest in coffee? Were you already talking to each other about...
Not really, no.
So when you say you both had a love...
No, I didn't. Toby got me into coffee.
I got him.
His fault.
Yeah. This was like, I think the years that have gone by as we've known each other, we've enjoyed coffee more and more. And it's as you make it at home, you get more of the gear and you get more into it. And gradually we got to this point where we were coffee connoisseurs from home. Yeah. But we by no means were experts or anything. And we loved the idea of running a business in coffee, having a coffee shop or a coffee van. And I think between jobs for months and months, we had this rolling concept idea of having a coffee van and going doing film sets. And it was like our escape, I think, from the 9 to 5. Yeah. Every day we were just powering away, and on our day off we would sit down and do little business plans together and come up with branding ideas and stuff. But it never quite went anywhere. It was always just a bit of a...
What was the push then? What was the point that tipped you over the edge?
We've been growing the business. It had become a kind of fully fledged a business that's going to start. So we fell in love with the idea. We wanted to have a product that was our own. We thought a coffee van is great, but it's not necessarily scalable from starting, and it would take us away from where we are right now.
I think we were very career driven. We've come out of uni together with this instilled mindset of you have to go and get a job in the industry that you want. If you don't, then you go back home and you're a failure. That's the kind of the thing in uni. And I think when we looked at having a coffee van, even though it was this idea that we loved, I think I was quite resistant to it. I was like, but where does it make us money? Where does it actually take us? Are we going to be able to one day live on a yacht? And just that...
Because essentially we'd just be leaving our current jobs to go and work on a coffee van, which there's nothing wrong with, but it wasn't what we wanted because we didn't want to take a U-turn on everything we'd done so far. We just wanted to come to a fork in the road, really.
I think you had a bit more belief than I did, though. And I think that's potentially down to the fact that your parents had worked for themselves their whole lives.
My parents were the same as I am now. They'd always been self-employed since they left school.
The complete opposite, though.
Yeah, but I think that's given me the drive to push for that.
Yeah, and I've got the pessimism.
Well, we're the yin and yang, aren't we?
Yeah, I think
that's... Funny, I was a little bit like that when I was growing up. I was brought up in a council house. My dad was a factory worker, and my mum worked part-time in a day nursery, washing babies' nappies for the afternoons. And there was this sense of glass half empty rather than glass half full sometimes. And it was, oh no, you want to be careful about doing that because this and that, the other, rather than go off and do it and have a go and see how you get on.
So I think we tried to make that idea work, the coffee van idea, and we just knew that there was going to be too much work involved that we would have to depart from our careers.
So when you say you tried to make it work, was that you tried to make it work on paper?
Yeah, on paper. Yeah.
And financially as well, I think something like that. The startup cost, we would have needed over 10 grand to make it happen, which we didn't have in our back pocket. Some people do, which is great, but we just didn't. So with what little cash we did have as freelancers, we thought, okay, we'll go back to the drawing boards. How can we turn this into a product that's sellable, that's scalable, that's a brand, that's an experience? And that was where we thought, why don't we just roast coffee? And we were pretty nonchalant about it, I
Yeah.
think. I think we jumped head first into something because it was like the plan B that made sense.
Yeah. And did either of you know how to roast coffee at this point?
Oh, absolutely not. No, not at all.
In fact, we didn't even know how it was roasted. It's very little. Looking back at it and saying it, it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why we came about it is that when we were still trying to make the first idea work, trying everything we could do in our spare time to try and make it work on paper and say this could set us free and stuff, we were going around different suppliers trying to find prices for things, and we ended up going to a few different roasteries as well. And that's when we had this kind of excitement of there's a new thing that we could do.
Yep.
And this could be it. This could be the thing that allows us to fulfill the dream that we have, but in a kind of a scalable way.
Yeah.
And not something that will inevitably hold us back. We just were like, how can we do it then? How can we roast coffee?
Yeah.
And we did find a way through doing it through as little cash as possible and buying a small 1 kilo roaster, literally about this big. Size of it, it looks a little bit like a little piglet because it's got little feet. And it is. We just bought some green coffee from kind of people who we met in the industry.
Yeah.
Got roasting in our spare room, which we did all legit. We got our food hygiene rating. Everything was proper solid. Really focused on making it work, and we launched in
December 2024.
yeah. And I think that was the point at which we were like, okay, now officially we have a side hustle.
Yeah.
But that was it. We were just.
And were you
like, we'll
still
see where it
working
goes.
freelancing for
Yes.
other people?
Yeah, because we need to pay the bills still.
Yeah.
We're still working. And again, we'd both got to a point where actually we'd made enough of a name of ourselves coming out of uni that work was starting to then stack up, and we were getting more and more opportunities actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like should have gone that way, but instead we went that way. So I think a lot of people, particularly in the industry, are like, how the hell what made you do it? And
on earth are
I
you
think
doing?
we're just, a lot of it, the truth is we just went in blind, a lot of it. Like because it was fun. We wanted to have fun.
I think the most important thing isn't the fact that you wanted to start a business. It's the fact that you wanted to spend more time together.
Yeah.
And that's what people lose sight of why they go into business sometimes. And we always encourage people to think about what their why is. What is it that's driving them forward? Because there are tough times. I'm sure you guys have had some tough times along the way. But if you hold on to that purpose, or that why are we doing this? Why are we putting all the effort and all the angst that we get from this into it? And what are we going to get out of it? If you've got that, then it'll see you through some really tough times. And we always encourage all of our clients to think about why they're doing what they're doing, rather than just doing it for the sake of it or trying to get some money out of it. It's what that money will do for you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think we found the why for our business a lot earlier on. Yes, we did want to spend more time together, but ultimately that's not the reason why we do the business, because we could have picked any business. We could have, I don't know, what other business could we have done? We could have done anything, probably.
Of course you can do anything.
But I think the why for us was the fact that we'd worked in the film and TV industry, and I think anyone very quickly realises that there is something not quite right in that industry for whatever reason. But the kind of the telltale signs of it's not going great in the industry are very clear.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, the whole industry runs on coffee.
Yeah.
Film and TV industry, that every single production, every single office, every single shoot, there is a tea table. Everyone who is doing that such a stressful job, you're up against budget constraints, time constraints. You might be working with people who you've perhaps not got on great in other jobs that you've done. And they're all very big characters as well.
I suppose everybody's pretending to be somebody else, aren't they?
But yeah, it's a dog-eat-dog industry almost. Most people are freelance.
Yeah.
And if you want the job,
You've got to be better than somebody else,
Yeah.
which means somebody else isn't going to get it, of course.
And I think that is the kind of the crux of the issue as well, in that industry. The film and TV charity, who we came about from our own personal experience, I was going through quite a tough time doing some of the jobs that I did, and I didn't know that there was actually a charity out there which offered support. But yourself?
Yeah, I was working on a really difficult job, which I'd jumped straight into from a previous job, and it was like a nice kind of like gap of finishing one job and then Monday morning starting on the next one. And I just finished on a really good job, so I was on a bit of a high and came in, and it was just a really difficult experience. The team wasn't nice. It was a really toxic environment. Massive TV show. People watch every day all over the country, so a lot of people know the people there, but I was thrown into the mix and realised that it was a very toxic and uncomfortable environment. And I went on a shoot, and I was put in a really vulnerable position where I was threatened by some contributors, and there were some other members of the crew who were threatened by some contributors. Trying to think about how I say this so it doesn't like...
So you weren't feeling great about it.
No, it wasn't going well. And it was the first time I'd truly done a job. It's a really difficult industry. People think it's very glitzy, very glamorous, and it's all hanging out on set. It's really tricky. Every job you do, there'll be tricky situations to get through. But this was the first time I'd ever been on a job where I was like, something's crossed the line. This has stepped into another realm of like, suddenly I'm completely alone, I'm very uncomfortable, and things are not going well. So I came away from that job, I quit mid-job. It was the first time I'd ever thrown my toys out the pram and was like, I'm not doing this, this is not okay.
Which is a very difficult decision.
It is,
yeah.
But it's a brave decision as well.
Because I also felt like I was standing up for the other people there. That I felt like me being put in this position, being incredibly vulnerable, is not an excuse to make a television programme. That ultimately being made for private commercial production company are profiting off. So because there's this other tricky aura in the industry that we're all making telly. So we're all putting our effort in to make this great thing that people are going to watch and enjoy and celebrate. But ultimately, there's still commercial gain there. Working for someone else, they're making money off it. Yeah. So no one should go to work and be upset or be put in an uncomfortable environment. Yeah. So when I came away from that job, it did have quite a serious effect on me and my mental health. So I, again, reached out to the film and TV charity, and I got emergency counselling from them over the phone, which was something that was a lifeline in that moment of kind of uncertainty and just such a tricky period. So I was really lucky that there was someone I could pick up the phone to. And that was the crossroads at which we brought together the Studio Black concept and how this could help the industry. And from there was where the idea just exploded for us and was a real sort of
I think that's
mission.
What crafted our why.
Yeah.
And I think not having that and understanding that we are creating a coffee brand for those people, so for creatives, for people who work in film and TV, people who don't work in film and TV and are just creative or work by themselves and have had similar experiences to us, being able to feel like they're buying a bag of coffee and they're part of a community, but also that coffee gives back to a charity, which they can benefit from as well. And I think the thing is as well, like that charity will get huge amounts of money from the big names in the industry. So like ITV, BBC, they all contribute massive amounts towards that charity. Yeah. And we'll never get to that point because we are quite a small business. Who knows? But the difference for us is that it comes from we're able to broaden the visibility of that charity. And
what's the charity called?
The Film and TV charity.
So it's just called the Film and TV charity?
Yeah, and they're over 100 years old. People don't know they exist.
I've heard of the Variety Club, which is another charity that's run by some people from the creative industries, but I hadn't heard of the film and TV charity.
And there's quite a lot of people in the industry who will say the
Also
exact same
don't,
thing.
yeah. And they are incredibly specialised, so they provide 24/7 counselling for free. They can help with stopgap grants between jobs.
Yeah.
They can help with legal advice for financial problems, or if you have HR issues, because that's a massive issue within the industry. Is if I think something like 80% of the workforce are freelance, 80% of the workforce then don't have an HR department who can properly help them out.
Yeah.
And they do a huge amount of work to support the freelance industry. And so that was our mission, was that we wanted to scream and shout about who they are and what they do, so that people also use those services and they take advantage of what's out there.
Yeah. Brilliant. So a contribution from you, so you give a percentage of profits?
Yeah.
Amazing. Moving on a little bit. You've started brewing coffee in your bedroom. What was it like when you first sold your first pouch?
We
bag?
really didn't think anyone would buy it. We didn't. I think
How did you get it out there for people to buy?
I did professional sound and video technology at uni. So I've got a background of web design, graphic design, motion design. I've got a lot of the skills that I can fulfill quite a lot of different roles.
Yeah.
So creating a website, putting those products on there, that was like it was very easy to me. It was like second nature. So that was never the issue. It was overcoming this idea that who will buy beyond our next door neighbour and our family. And I think as soon as people understood, people who've worked with us before, people who know our name, or maybe know our face and not our name, they also purchased. And Christmas 2024 became this massive elated thing of, oh wow, people are actually buying this thing that we're making. And we thought that was how it was going to end, just the family and friends and sort of our network circle. It wasn't until we got into January where we realised that maybe we'd made a decision that is now making us do a bit more work. So
we're launching it in December. We were quite lucky that we sidled up to all the other companies selling products during gifting season, and people are there with their money ready to buy so they can give people things. And we then realised that, and we were like, oh, this is great. This was a great reason to start. And then got to January and went, why has no one stopped buying? Why
It's not normally the question that people normally ask. It's normally the opposite question.
We got to Christmas Day, people stopped buying. You get through a week of Christmas and then people started buying again. And we were like, is the website broken? Like, have people been, like, how has this happened?
People actually like the coffee.
Yeah. And we got into January and people liked the coffee. And we got to, I think, February, and we were ordering our first 60-kilo sack of coffee, which came on a pallet to our little terraced house in Salford.
And you were still working with this little small pig-like...
When we launched, you were roasting at 3:00 in the morning.
Wow.
And we've been up for nearly 24 hours, constantly roasting and packing to get stuff dispatched.
Your
and
neighbours
it was
must,
like,
if you have coffee-loving neighbours, they must love this lovely, gentle aroma of coffee.
drifting through. It was a bit of
not to mention it too much, to be honest.
That was a tricky. It was. Launching something at home isn't quite as simple as you think it is straight away.
Especially with a business that has such a physical nature to it, where you are.
So what came next then? Was it moving into a unit somewhere, or was it buying a bigger roaster and then realising that you can't fit it in the house?
So the tipping point for us was that we started to get these inquiries for wholesale. And we got an inquiry from my good friends at Dock 10 in Media City saying, hey, can you supply our coffee? And we were like,
Just drop dead.
yes, but also no. How are we going to do that? And we just went along with it very tentatively, and we're like, how are we going to keep this up?
I think that was the proof of concept.
Yeah.
That was so we know that we can sell to customers, but we can sell to businesses now.
Yeah.
I think that was where we started to be like, okay, that's given us the confidence to maybe think about that other people might be interested as well. And I think that was it, yeah. A unit, some kind of warehouse thing.
I think
Anywhere that wasn't the bedroom.
That was the crunch point where we were like, okay, there's, like you say, there's the proof of concept that we could scale this up, go to bigger and do more, but we need to put business hat on, sit down at a desk and do the business plan and check it's all going to work. What money do you need? How do you scale it up? When would we need a bigger roaster? What's this going to cost? Like the knock-on effect. And we sat down and put it all together. And it actually worked. You could easily sit down and put a business together and you're like, this is flawed. This isn't going to work after 6 months. And actually we put it together and we realised we can make this work.
I would say, though, that was with the help of a business coach.
Yeah.
And I think because we went through Virgin Startup to get some kind of funds because your parents work for themselves. They've not got this bank vault with loads of money. The same for my parents. Like, there was people in our friends and family, our circle, were like, could we bootstrap it? Could we get some money?
Yeah.
No was the answer.
So you got a Virgin Startup loan rather than a
Yeah.
grant, so it's a loan, and they supply a mentor as well for you?
They did, yeah. It was assistance to put together your business plan.
Yeah,
For
they're protecting their money, really.
Pretty
at
much,
the end,
yeah.
And it's great because there's so many business people who set out and they don't get the help that they rightly deserve for taking the brave step of starting a business. So people like Virgin, people like NatWest Accelerator programs and things like that are a brilliant way for people to get involved and get started up. But what else did they help you with then, the coach that you had?
Well, this is why it just truly, I would say that Adam from Virgin has changed our lives.
Yeah.
That it's not just about putting the spreadsheet together. It's about the wider things that you need as part of the business and how's it going to work. And if you get to this point, you'll need 3 members of staff. How's that going to work? What are the costs of that? And all these add-on things that we had no idea about. He told us to get trademarked and look at all these other routes. He wasn't just someone who was trying to get our loan over the line so that they could get a bit of interest. It was a full-on support network of making sure this business was rock solid, that it could
I remember having that first meeting, though, of just talking about the business and this kind of spreadsheet that you put together. And I'm thinking, this is just, we're going to leave this meeting.
I can still remember it. Feels like yesterday.
Afterwards. But actually, we came away from it and we were like, the crux of it was that the sort of forecast was far too, what's the word?
Conservative.
Yeah. And we were both like, okay.
We went in thinking we were being cocky.
Yeah.
And he said, no, you can triple that. Easily. And we were like, oh.
I did actually. I think I laughed. I think I was like, no.
We thought a business coach was there and a mentor was there to shut you down and to pull your ideas. Maybe for some people, but we thought
you can't see on camera. There's a big sign up on the wall over there, everybody, that says business growth and performance training and coaching, not shut you down training and coaching.
But this, we've just come from leaving education, going into the world of work for the first time. We've got this instilled idea that you are not going to find someone who's going to encourage you to move outside your comfort zone. It is just not, that's not what we were expecting.
And I think sometimes that depends on the quality of the teachers and lecturers that you have going through education. Some teachers are brilliant because they get you to expand your thinking. Absolutely. They get you to almost step off the edge, to try new things. And there should always be, for me, being able to take risks is crucial in growth because that's the way you learn.
Yeah.
That's the way you learn. Sometimes it goes right, sometimes it goes a little bit wrong. But as that sign says up there, the biggest mistake you can make is to do nothing at all. So for me, take some risks.
But that was a huge part of the turning point for us, was that we'd started to put together this concept. We knew there was something, we knew there was a growth plan. And we said, we'd be wrong to do nothing. We'd be wrong to just put this in a cupboard and shut the door.
Yeah.
If we do that, we'd be doing ourselves a disservice.
Yeah. So the roaster, the loan from Virgin covered that?
So it covered part of the costs of getting set up in a unit and the upfront rent and all of that sort of thing. And then it was about going towards buying a £30,000 roaster from Turkey, which was a very grueling process.
Yeah.
The company we went with in the end were brilliant, but being brand new and being only 24 and 25 at the time and suddenly doing international trade in 4 figures it's a huge leap to take when we've not got 5, sorry.
I tend to look at the
Expand
numbers.
your thinking.
He does the numbers.
I could just see Callum going, one.
I don't know.
If it was 4 figures, that would be
That would be
much
better.
nicer.
Oh yeah, you're
You'd pay
right.
for it,
no.
man.
Oh, what am I like?
Sorry.
No,
But
it just
wouldn't
it's
want that going down in history.
it was so scary in that period. It was
Yeah.
like we've taken the leap. There's no going back now.
Yeah.
We've signed a 5-year lease on a property. We've got to make this work. now.
Sometimes you've got to burn your boats.
Yeah.
There's an old story about some of the, I can't remember, like Spanish invaders, the Americas in the early days. I can't remember the name of the guy that they were talking about. But once they got off the 3 or 4 boats that they come across on, he ordered them to burn the boats, and they all said, "Why are you doing that?" They said, "There's only one way then. You can't go back, there's only forward." So.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
But as we started to grow, we then started to get more wholesale inquiries. The retail orders were going up and up, and it just completely snowballed from there. And then the next biggest turning point for us, I think, was doing probably Manchester Coffee Festival, would you say?
Yeah.
Where we'd grown our product line, we'd got lots of new roasts.
Yeah.
We were really on top of things in terms of scaling. And we went to Manchester Coffee Festival, which is where we'd been 12 months previous as visitors on the trade day. And we thought we were going to sidle in and be the little guys in the corner, not sell a thing, and we were just pleased to be there. And
It was also the most nerve-wracking thing
yeah,
we ever
it was
did.
terrifying.
Not
because
knowing what to
all
expect.
the other big dogs
Yeah.
in there,
Yeah.
and we're just the newbies to the scene.
Yeah.
It was very scary. I was absolutely terrified. I don't think I slept
So what
but a
happened?
week before. We roasted enough for the entire 3-4 day festival and
Yeah.
sold it all on the first day.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you were up at 3 o'clock roasting more again, were you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, we'd only just got our roaster like 2 days before. Or
Delivered
50
from Turkey, yeah.
So we were like we were really cutting it fine because
Yeah.
in the lead up to how can we secure wholesale accounts? Okay, well we can't because we've not got the infrastructure to
Yeah.
do it. So at the time, I was taking sacks of coffee to a roaster that we'd been introduced to via a friend of friend, and I was roasting on his machine, bringing all of that roasted coffee all the way back to our roastery or our unit at the time because we didn't have the roaster that had the capacity in order to fulfill these accounts.
Yeah.
We got the roaster pretty much as soon as Manchester Coffee Festival happened, and when we ran out of coffee, I was like, "Oh my gosh, what do we do?"
You had to roast because the roaster that you'd been going to, he was on holiday in
Yeah.
Japan.
Right.
so
So
there
you
was
had to
like
switch it
no
on and get
plan
it
B.
sorted.
Yeah.
So switched it on and first roast at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
How long does it actually take to do a roast of coffee?
From it being in the hopper at the top
Yeah.
to it dropping and it going brown, probably about 15 minutes. That whole process of it cooling as well. A lot of people just think it takes an hour or you bake it in an oven like a cake. You don't.
No.
It's not quite
But
like
then
that.
you've got a gradual process. You've got to do enough then.
Yeah. So we started on a 1 kilo roast. And if you put 1 kilo of green coffee in, you don't get a kilo out because there's moisture loss. You end up with anywhere between 800 to 700 grams,
Right.
100 to 900 grams.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to do 10 kilos of coffee, it would take me a very long time on that 1 kilo roaster. Now we've got the setup where we can scale and do massive accounts. So I can do that 10 kilo in 15 minutes instead of
Hopefully not at
hours.
1 o'clock in the morning.
To be honest, we're at the point where we're just
Don't care.
don't care. Yeah.
you go where the money is. So don't you? You just keep going. Like any opportunity that comes forward, we take it and seize it. And the business just goes from strength to strength.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of our passion and drive to always do more and be better and grow everything. So there's always new opportunities around the corner. And we get to the end of every month and we go, looking ahead to next month, this is what's happening. There's nothing in the calendar. We're going to have a quiet month. We're just going to do online orders. We'll have a couple of wholesale orders and nothing else will happen. And that's never what happens.
not really how it works.
And that's what it's been for the last 12 months.
Yeah.
You know, planning to do nothing and instead doing completely the opposite. But
Amazing.
we wouldn't be where we are if we hadn't.
You've got a van as well, haven't you? I remember when I came round to your place, there was a van parked outside with Studio Black on the side of it.
Yes. So last year in the summer, I was still taking on some odd bits of work to get some money on the side. And I got asked, can you do a coffee van?
Yeah.
They said...
For a location shoot.
Sorry. I was on a commercial in Blackpool.
Yeah.
And they said, we need a coffee van on the next one in 2 weeks. Would you want to do it? And I was like, yep. And then walked around the corner and called Callum. And I was like,
no.
so we need a coffee van in 2 weeks. Just say yes and think about it later.
Yeah.
And so last August, we did our first coffee van job and we converted our current van into a coffee van.
Brilliant.
And then the jobs again scaled and we had so many of them that we were getting so many inquiries. We needed to be in 2 places at once and we were turning stuff down. We needed bigger capacity to do bigger shoots. So in January of this year, we crowdfunded to get a bigger coffee van and we've now got our second coffee van, which is brilliant and it's out on the road doing bigger shoots. So we've now got the capacity for crews in the hundreds. And in January, we then worked towards the end of January, turning around another coffee van in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We went and did a crew at the AO Arena of about 1,000.
Amazing.
So
it really put it to the test.
It's working.
And it's working.
And it's working.
Yeah.
So do you guys man the van or have you got other members of staff now who help you?
We do. We've now got one member of staff, Tom, and the three of us kind of balance all of the workload where we need to. But again, we are at a bit of a crunch point where we need more people because as the kind of coffee beans side of the business grows at the roastery, if you go out and do a shoot for the day for 12 hours in Sheffield, no one's at the roastery packing orders.
Yeah.
So you need to be in 2 places at once again.
Yeah.
And as everything grows, you need more capacity and more staff. And we are at that point where we're kind of like, we need more people. And it's hard because as you've grown something and it's your baby, it feels like you're giving it away by bringing more people in. So it is really tricky to...
And there's a few challenges around that. And it's one of the biggest, not stumbling blocks, but stepping stones for business owners. It's letting go. There are two key things going on in business owners' head. Number one, why should I pay somebody else to do it when I can do it myself? And number two is nobody can do it better than I can.
Yeah.
And having the right, you know what your culture and your values are, making sure that your team extol those culture and values and provide the same world-class customer experience that you would always do as your business grows, becomes more of a challenge. So you've got to make sure you've got the right frameworks and systems in place to recruit and train and educate your team around that as well.
I think being co-founders has helped us get comfortable with the idea of letting go of some things.
Yeah.
Because we've gotten to the point where we didn't want to hire anyone until we knew that we absolutely needed someone. And getting to that point means there's certain things that Toby does that I don't touch, and then vice versa. So,
I think there was a long time where we were skipping along, holding hands together, making every decision at the same time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're at a crossroads realizing we can't do this anymore because you have to divide and conquer or your efficiency is terrible.
So do you wear very specific different hats now in the business?
I'd say we do for some things.
I think we do, yeah.
And then we consult each other quite a lot on things that are important to the scaling of the business. But the general day-to-day running of the business, we're like almost a bit separate, aren't we?
Yeah.
And I think that's part of getting comfortable with letting go.
So when I came in to see you, Toby turns up at the front doing the sales bit and you're in the back with the roaster.
roaster.
So would you say you're more operations and you're more sort of marketing and sales, or do you know how to define your roles yet?
We're getting there. I think we're still learning that.
It's very hard, like you say, to hand off responsibility, but it's also, everything's still so new. Being such a new business and having never done this sort of thing before, it's very easy to say, oh, you do those decisions and you do those decisions, but every decision that seems to come up every week is something new that neither of us have an idea about. So you have to consult each other on it. And I think once you've crossed that bridge once, you know how to do it a second time. But you do sometimes have to take the leap, and spending money is one of them. That it's like, I go out and buy, I don't know, cups, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna just buy it and not talk to him about it, and then I'll get back and I'll be like, oh my God, this, is that okay? I bought some cleaning powder, is that all right? And he's, I don't care. And then I'm like, oh gosh, I got away with it, it's fine.
I bought myself a new car.
Yeah.
I don't care about that.
Pulling up in my Ferrari.
So what's next for you guys then? Gosh. So you're producing for Wholesale, you've got vans going out to do location shoots, you've got deals with Doc 10 and other partners like that. What does the next sort of year to 3 years hold for you guys? Have you got a grand plan? Have you got a vision?
No, of course we do. Of course
Have you got a vision for what you want the business to be like in 3-5 years' time?
I personally think anything that we do say is going to happen in 3 to 5 years' time will probably happen within the next year.
Well, that's good. That's fine.
Yeah, but I would say it's growing on every front of our business, which we are trying to divide and conquer and give ourselves the room to grow, whether that's our wholesale accounts with coffee shops or creative spaces like Doc 10. That's one side of the business which we want to grow, and we do want to be, our vision is to be in every corner of the creative space, whether that is a co-working space or whether it's an editor's desk who works at home and they have their own little coffee ritual. It's connecting with every single person, and that's where we want Studio Black to be, ever present within the creative community. But in terms of the grand plan, I guess we've got the scalability of our coffee vans as well, being able to go on as many shoots as possible, so as much of the kind of the northwest and the north area, and then growing that across the whole country.
A lot of Studio Black as well is about creating community around coffee and community for creatives, particularly, like we said, people who might be working from home or on their own in their own little shoebox setup, that we want to be able to bring people together. We're going to be at London Coffee Festival this year. We're going to be doing Manchester Coffee Festival again later in the year. And we want to grow our public-facing events as well. We've just opened the roastery full-time to the public so that people can come in and get takeaway coffee, pick up orders, see coffee being roasted, doing more markets. It's just doing more of being out there and being part of the community, I think, is what I want to see from us, so that people from all areas can get a hold on Studio Black.
Yeah. And are you doing Bolton Food and Drink Festival?
I did reach out to them, but they've not replied.
Right. Maybe have a word.
Leave that one in there.
I know a couple of people at Bolton Council. We'll say that quietly. So a couple of quick fire questions to end.
Okay.
If there was one piece of advice that you could give yourselves just before you set out on this adventure, because that's what it is, what would be the best piece of advice you could offer? Not particularly for you, but there are lots of other people out there who think, oh, maybe I want to start a business. So what would be the best piece of advice you think you could give to yourselves and those people who are thinking about it now?
Oh gosh, don't look at me like that. Like I'm going to know.
To do that. I think I would say don't be afraid to give other people responsibility. And I think that's one of the ways that we work together. We know when to hand off to each other, and I think if we didn't have that, and we weren't co-founders, and we were just by ourselves, I would probably not be where I am now. And I imagine you'd say the same thing as well.
Yeah, quite similar. I was going to say, don't be afraid to go with your gut. Trust yourself. You've got yourself to this point. Use what you've built on to grow and do more of that, and don't let other people shut down your ideas. Because there'll be a lot of people who are, I think, there can be a lot of people in business who are green-faced about what you're doing. So if you trust yourself, go with that gut instinct.
For me, the best piece of advice anybody ever gave me was to surround yourself with people who are going to pull you up, not pull you down.
Definitely.
There are lots of people out there who, for whatever reason, will want to see you fail. For me, there are lots and lots of other people who want to see you succeed. So surround yourself with those people, those with the great ideas who are prepared to help you, prepared to push you wherever they can. Because for me, taking a risk like you guys have taken to start your business and do what you're doing is absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed it. One final question for you then. I know you've mentioned Adam at Virgin. Are there any other podcasts that you listen to or books that you've read around business or marketing, sales, whatever it happens to be, or any people in particular that you refer to when you're thinking about your business to learn and to take inspiration from?
This is another kind of piece of advice, is that I love just collaborating and being part of other small businesses. And I think it's really important to work with other small businesses, just to be friends and connect. You don't need to be sitting down having boardroom meetings every week with them, but being able to understand what other people are experiencing in business and what's going well for you. They might have advice for you, but people who are the same age as you, who are older than you, younger than you, got different ideas in completely different fields. Like, we went and bought some tiles for our new bar the other week in Preston, and we met a guy who was running the business selling tiles, so completely different to us. But he was fascinated by the world in which we are in for e-commerce. So we had a really great chat over connecting those two things together. And I think by supporting other small businesses, you can, like you say, bring each other up.
Books are great. Like, we've read quite a lot of different books. I think the good thing about that is that it stays with you. It's almost like that's your little book of golden nuggets almost. But you can get them from other people, from lived experiences. And unlike a book, you can ask them questions as well. And I think, like what you were saying there, Toby, about collaborating with different businesses, I think just being around different businesses as well. I remember we went to our first market in summer last year where we were selling our bags of coffee. Possibly one of the most nervous things I've been to, because it's other market traders. I thought it was going to be very much like the industry that we're from, very like dog eat dog almost, but actually it's people who are in the same position as you, people who are overcoming their own obstacles and probably have problems, but just in a different costume. And actually being able to speak to them and speak about how they feel, how they're getting through it emotionally, and that mindset that they have is massive. Those are the golden nuggets that I really like.
Because I'm the same, that the best business advice I get from people is not on paper. It's not from Google or ChatGPT. It's from
lived experience.
From other people who want to share their passion with you. That's where I get inspired.
We have a great sense of community here at Ashco. Our community is one of the most important things for us, bringing all the clients and prospects together, talking as often as we can. We have a WhatsApp group for everybody to jump onto and ask questions of. We get together once every couple of months, every quarter at the very least. There are so many different stories, so many different ideas that can be shared and can be applied whatever sector you're in. Then the same principles of business apply whatever business you're in. The same frameworks apply whatever business you're in. So finally, how do people find Studio Black? How did they get in touch with you? How did they buy your products?
Why is it
you can't, Callum, you can't keep looking at
you
Toby.
always turn and look at me, so I'm going to turn and look at you this time.
The best place to buy our coffee is on our website. So it's studioblackcoffee.co.uk. We're all over socials. Our whole thing is showing as much of our business and the progress that we make and the mistakes, all on social media. So that's Studio Black Coffee.
And you can also find us in Bolton on Lever Grove. So you can come and get yourself a takeaway coffee.
And obviously that is something that we really want to put, because then we can have people from our local area as well come in and speak to us, and maybe there's someone else who wants advice that perhaps have come across us, and we're there for them as well.
I first met you guys after I saw your crowdfunder and contributed to help you get that van together. I've been into the shop and bought some coffee. I bought it online and came and collected it. But 3 weeks later. Sorry, I was a little bit late coming in to get it. I had a few things on. The coffee's delicious, so if anybody's listening, I'd encourage everybody to come in and see you guys, because you're two great guys to talk to about business. I know you're passionate about what you do. The coffee's absolutely delicious. I'm ready to get some more shortly as well, so I'll be back in to see you. Callum and Toby, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much for having us. Thank you.